Hey guys, Day here. The new Atlas passive tree allows for more diversity and customization in endgame map farming than ever before, and I believe that standing among the most powerful strategies for currency farming in PoE's endgame is city, square, expedition farming. In this video, I'll be discussing my loot from farming, why expedition farming in maps is so powerful, and how to optimize it for maximum currency gains. Whether you end up trying this strategy or not, I'm sure there will be something to learn in this video, or maybe you'll find it interesting. I farmed nothing but tier 16 city squares with polished expedition scarabs for 10 hours straight and tracked all my profits. Every map was chiseled, alked, and valed, run with the scarab and 2 additional sacrificial fragments and some sort of sextant modifiers to add more monsters to the map. My Atlas passive tree was spec'd to have a pretty balanced approach, with nodes in Harbinger, Essence, Strongbox, Shrines, Eater of Worlds, and of course, Expedition. Links to my Atlas trees are in the description. The concept is simple: port into the map and run straight to the boss and kill it. Then, clear the rest of the map, proccing the Eater of Worlds altars as you go. By killing the map boss first, you ensure every subsequent altar offers modifiers that affect mobs on the map or eldritch minions rather than the boss, which is generally useless. The modifiers you look for are anything to give you more good drops, such as the item quantity bonus, which gives you more general map drops and loot from Expedition, or the one that adds chance for scarabs to drop, which is incredibly valuable too. Hopefully, after clearing the map, you will have obtained a bunch of quantity bonuses, allowing you to do the expedition at the end of the map to obtain as much quantity as possible and therefore a greater chance at valuable drops. And I'll talk about how to do these expeditions later on. After 10 hours of farming, I earned around a 51 exalt profit, which averages out to over 5 exalts per hour in currency gains and over 100 chaos in profits per map that I ran. You can see the full details and loot breakdowns in a spreadsheet that I linked in the description if you are curious. I won't go into all the details here, but simply put, the large bulk of currency comes from expedition drops and raw currency. Expedition logbooks are a huge profit maker, ranging in value from 80 to 30 chaos. The Expedition vendor reroll currencies are a huge source of income as well, ranging in value from 2 to 10 chaos each and selling rapidly in bulk. Because my Atlas tree was pretty balanced, I got a ton of currencies like raw exalts and chaos, plus a ton of scarabs which dropped like wildfire from eldritch monsters and from arch nemesis. Of course, I got a bunch of uniques and special maps and a couple big drops too, like a 4 exalt enlighten, which I obviously ignored in the profit calculations because that would skew the data a lot. I also dropped an absurd amount of essences, divination cards, maps, fossils, catalysts, metamorphs, and more, but all of that and everything you see in this tab I completely ignored in my profit calculations to be more conservative with what you are realistically earning, even though this stuff holds great chaos value as well. Originally, I was going to keep the video just about this, a relatively low investment expedition farming guide for very consistent profits that are easy to convert, but the gamer in me couldn't help but go even further beyond because you definitely can. I spent 2 more hours farming 16 expedition maps at high investment. Every map was chiseled, alked, and valed, running only maps that were un-ID'd or 8 modded with high quantity. Every map had a gilded expedition scarab, 2 fragments, and importantly, the presence of this sextant, which adds more runic monsters, which I purchased for around 80 chaos each, so around 20 chaos per map. The other 3 sextants on the map were just random stuff to add more monsters. I also respec'd my Atlas tree to grab more effective modifiers and more quantity on my map so that I could hopefully get more quantity in my expeditions and therefore more quality drops. At 40 chaos investment per map, some may think that this is risky, but the reality is that these expeditions were worth every chaos and much more. After just 2 hours of farming, I earned over 1,900 chaos in profits, which is over a 900 chaos or 7 exalts per hour profit on my super slow minion build. Unlike the low investment approach, which has returns spread across different modalities like currency, scarabs, and special maps, this higher investment approach specifically into expedition has the overwhelming majority of income coming from expedition drops, and the drops were crazy. As you can see, many logbooks and reroll currencies. Again, the spreadsheet in the description contains all the details. Every map felt juiced to the brim in the expeditions and very rewarding, whereas when you're using a lower investment, you can have a lot of long dry spells, which can sometimes feel pretty bad. But the question remains, why did investing more result in such a dramatic increase in currency per hour, and how can you maximize profits from expedition in maps? Well, let's get into it. When you see expedition in maps, you start from the detonator and place down multiple explosives in a chain which blow up one after another and trigger remnants, chests, and monsters from skulls to be uncovered. Expedition logbooks and reroll currencies like the burial medallion drop from runic monsters. Runic monsters appear only from blowing up runic monster markers, which are the big skulls on the sticks, and the little ones are regular monsters, which are largely worthless. The amount of these valuable drops you get is dependent on quantity, which you can obtain from quantity on Atlas passives, quantity on the map, and quantity from remnant bonuses. Quantity on Atlas passives is pretty easy. Just spec into all the relevant expedition nodes on the tree, which are mandatory, and additional quantity on the tree if you feel like it. Link to my trees are in the description. Quantity on the map can be increased by rolling a good tier 16 map, adding fragments into the map device, and using Fortune Favors the Brave with its Atlas tree bonus for 10% increased item quantity and pack size. If you set things up right, the second you enter the map, you can near 200% increased item quantity and bring that even higher as the map progresses by using the Eater of Worlds altars. Finally, the Remnants is the most nuanced part of all of this. When you encounter an expedition, you want to walk around and look for remnants with the following modifiers: increased quantity of expedition logbooks, increased quantity of items dropped by monsters, and the extremely rare runic monsters are duplicated, which I have never personally seen or noticed. If you see these mods, you should try to hit the remnant as soon as you can in your chain of explosions. This will allow their modifiers to affect their own explosion and every following explosion in the chain of the expedition, allowing you to increase the chances of dropping valuable logbooks or reroll currencies. If you hit logbook or quantity remnants at the end of your chain of explosions, its modifiers will not have had any impact on any of the previous explosions. After you get these remnants, your next and only job is to hit as many of the big runic monster markers as possible. These are what will give you your big drops. The chests don't matter, the little skulls don't matter, other remnants don't matter. They are nice bonuses, but the runic monster markers are the priority. You never want to be in a scenario like me here, where I awkwardly miss two obvious runic markers and miss out on potentially great loot. Knowing that runic monster markers are where the big money is at, you can exponentially increase your profits with a sextant. Areas contain 100% increased number of runic monster markers, plus a gilded expedition scarab, which adds 50% increased runic monsters. This is an unethical increase that scales hugely with quantity, and the reason why I could reliably earn over 900 chaos an hour on higher investment into expedition. The next piece of this is selling your loot, which is super easy. For logbooks, you look at the book. If it has Knights of the Sun, it automatically sells for between 70 and 80 chaos, regardless of whatever else is there. If it doesn't have Knights of the Sun, but has Black Scythe mercenaries, it's around 40 chaos. If it has none of those, but has druids, it's around 30 chaos, and if it has only Orders of the Chalice, which is quite rare, it's like less than 20 chaos. If it has a boss as one of the modifiers, the price becomes much higher, and you should search for the price. I sold this one instantly at around 100 chaos. Reroll currencies like burial medallions, exotic coinage, astra galleys, and scrap metal sell super fast in bulk. They are so valuable because they can be used on the expedition vendors to reroll their inventories and sometimes get massive rewards. For example, I used an exotic coinage to reroll Tujin's inventory and got an exalt for basically free, as you can see here. I usually just sell my currencies because I'm not much of a gambler, but you can certainly do so yourself. In summary, expedition is pretty nuts. While you do need to think a little bit when you do the expedition, that is part of the fun. Both low investment with the polished scarab and going all in with a gilded scarab and special sextants can be very profitable, and my personal favorite is the more expensive option given the significant increase in profits and higher amount of expedition specific drops. The beauty is that to do expedition, you don't need a headhunter or a Godspeed zoomy build. You can do expeditions on a more normal pace build and still reap the profits. But at the end of the day, almost any farming strategy is profitable in PoE, especially with a new Atlas tree. You don't really need to make over 7 exalts an hour because the most important thing is that you're having fun doing whatever strategies you like most, which is the beauty of the new PoE endgame and Atlas tree. I was definitely having fun in Expedition and will likely keep it going for a while before I switch over to something new. I try to keep this video short and concise, so if you have any questions or concerns, please leave them in the comments down below and I'll try my best to lend a helping hand. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.